We are independent, fearless, and credible. Hello and welcome to Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Brace. In our headlines this hour, as doomsday continues to bite hard, fresh controversy has erupted pitching the state power generator against the private power producers. We hear from the senior staff at VRA as they warn IPPs to stay off the assets. More from strongly worded statement from the VRA senior staff with fears of judgment debts in the power sector. And tonight, cement manufacturers call the bluff of Trade Minister to immediately reverse recent increase in cement prices, saying the minister's directive is without a sound basis. And the NDC is calling for an independent bipartisan parliamentary probe into the missing voter registration verification kits and the conduct of the EC in the ongoing limited voter registration. Now, as doomsday continues to bite hard, fresh controversy has erupted, pitching the state power generator against private producers. Now, senior staff of the Volta River Authority have been tearing into the chamber of IPPs, Ghana and the ECG for what they refer to as clandestine moves to privatize the state power generator. According to them, some individuals and groups are discrediting the importance VRA plays in Ghana's power sector with the aim of selling it to their cronies. But their senior staff association say they will use every means available to them to ensure Ghanaians enjoy affordable power by resisting the sale of VRA. They're also accusing ECG for underpaying VRA, which is threatening the financial survival of the authority. This is contained in a letter to the authority's management for redress cited by Joy News. Let's share with you details of this particular one. But we understand that they cite several issues about some environmental impact assessment that was done before the construction of the dam, which said that it could inundate the northeast basin, and therefore we were supposed to compensate the neighboring countries. That's why we signed an agreement to provide power to Benin, Togo, and Burkina. But this evening, Dr. Akufo-Addo, who is former power minister, says he is disappointed by the decision to curtail power to the neighboring countries.
The export of power to neighboring countries is in Ghana's strategic interest. And therefore, it is unpatriotic for anybody to want to curtail that. Whoever curtails that is doing a disservice to Ghana. We had load shedding during our time. We never curtailed it. If it's arising out of the challenges you have, assuming you were to give 100 megawatts, and you speak to them that, look, we have challenges. So instead of 100, we will burden share. So you have 60 or you have 70. That is a position that everybody will understand. So that you are burden sharing. But if you are asked to curtail, not to supply them because we have domestic challenges and that it is in somebody's short political interest to supply all the power to Ghana to the exclusion of the neighborhood, then we are digging a very deep hole for Ghana. Look, the Volta takes its source outside Ghana. Burkina can decide to put up more dams on their stretch of the Volta. If that happens, Ghana suffers. And that is why I'm saying this unpatriotic. And I say this with all seriousness. For anybody to want to disrupt the supply of power to our neighbors, it is in our national strategic interest, indeed, in our national security interest.
So is it true what we're being told tonight, that it's possible we can incur some judgment debt by that particular action to curtail power?
Well, we have contracts. And if you unilaterally decide not to honor contracts, there are consequences to contracts. There are. So, because of the temporary electoral gains that this government wants, and I am extremely disappointed, we are jettisoning the strategic national interests of Ghana.
Well, the executive director of the Kumasi Institute of Technology and Environment, KITE, Ishmael Ejigumhiene, says the cash waterfall mechanism must be looked at again since it was just a temporary measure. Now, he's saying this because the senior staff of VRA are are saying that the ECG is not paying them under the cash waterfall mechanism. That if you look at the bill of 1 billion they've given ECG, they only capture 300 million under the cash waterfall mechanism. Out of that, ECG still owes them over 147 million.
You look at what led to this revision of the cash waterfall mechanism. It wasn't working, and then this thing was revised. This was done in June 2023. That's when the new model was put in place. Just check. Let's follow the trend. Are we even getting the 1 billion that is supposed to allow everybody to get the money? And is the exchange rate that was used to determine the 43 million US dollars, that if you check June 2023, the exchange rate has changed significantly. So if ECG is not doing 1 billion and the exchange rate has also worsened, then you still have little money to distribute to everybody. On top of that, Ministry of Finance, if you look at the cash waterfall mechanism, Ministry of Finance is supposed to pay whatever shortfall that is due the state-owned utilities. They are not paying that as well. So that's the current problem. There is cash crunch in the power sector. And bottom line, if we are buying X amount of power and there's tariff for that power, the one who is buying the power should be able to collect the power they sell and pay everybody in the value chain.
Well, the Senior Staff Association of VRS say that the IPP's Chambers CEO, Dr. Petobo, has been discussing elsewhere and suggesting that the thermal assets of VRS should be privatized. Here, the Senior Staff Association is saying that anybody thinking about privatizing VRA thermal assets must stay off because they will resist it with every means available to them. Nana Mwesi Faith, who is the executive director of the Institute for Energy Security, says he disagrees with any decision to privatize VR's asset. He says ECG, rather, must be looked at.
Well, first we must ask what are the challenges operations of the Volta River Authority? They being inefficient, for which reason we want to introduce a supporting scheme. I strongly admit that we must privatize the VRA. We believe that if we have to do anything, we should start looking at downstream. It is the ECG system that has the challenges of, power losses. So the ECG is the point within the value chain that has the inefficiency contributing to the low revenue we collect at the end of the day, and for which reason we are having this financial constraints in the sector. The ECG loses close to 30% of the power transmitted to them for technical and commercial reasons. And so we need to address those challenges in there so that the whole power system can be liquid enough to operate unhindered. And so if we have to do anything at all, then we should rather focus on ECG, but not VRA. VRA is set at a very strategic position.
Well, away from that, the cement manufacturers are on a warpath with the Trade Minister, Kwadwo Hammond, serving a strong notice they will not comply with the ministry's directive to immediately reverse recent increase in cement prices. In a statement, the ministry said this directive is to check arbitrary increases in cement prices. Let's share with you what the ministry put out there. Now, if you look at what the ministry said, the ministry is trying to say that things are hard and that the arbitrary increase in cement prices is not something that should be encouraged, and therefore they are asking the cement manufacturers to reduce the prices with immediate effect. But the Chief Executive Officer, let me share with you a bit of that statement even before. Now, the minister said the Minister for Trade and Industry, Honorable Katie Hammond, MP, has directed the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee, CMDC, to instruct cement manufacturing companies in Ghana to reverse immediately the increase in cement prices recently announced in the country. So that's a part of the statement. And again, it says the minister, recalling his directive to the CMDCs at its inauguration on 8th March 2024, further requested the publication of the retail price of cement by all cement manufacturing companies in the country in a bid to stop the continuous arbitrary increases in cement prices. Now, again, it says he further reiterated his call for the CMDC to work with cement companies to ensure uniform cement prices nationwide by adopting a unified cement pricing mechanism akin to the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund adopted by the National Petroleum Authority for fuel retail in Ghana. It says the CMDC, which was established under the Ghana Standards Authority Regulations 2023 LI 2480, is chaired by the Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodo. Again, it says it comprises representatives of cement manufacturers, the Association of Ghana Industries, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, the Ghana Institution of Engineers, and the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation. It again says, it is the regulator for cement manufacture in the country, and is charged, among other things, to, quote, promote the manufacturing and the manufacture, wholesale, and retail of cement and cement component. So this is what the statement says. Now, if you look at it, it tells you what exactly the ministry wants the committee to do. But the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers, Dr. George Dawson Amwa, says the minister's directive lacks the basis for them to accept it.
It came as a surprise, as something that we never expected. Come to think of the relationship that we've built with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. I would say to an authority that the cement industry will be, I think, if not the only industry or one of the industries that have established a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Trade and Industry because of the sensitivity of the product, because of how economically the product is being, seen in the country. You're talking about cement, and he's talking about the use of cement, infrastructure, buildings, blah, 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 blah. They put it that way. So we established that relationship. And one of the key areas for this memorandum of understanding is to judge so that we really look into what goes into cement production in terms of cost, so that at least at the ending point in time, the cement prices will be stabilized. Among other things, just to ensure there's fairness in the competition. Now, there is actually tense competition because there are a lot of manufacturers. And again, the sensitivity of this product in terms of quality, we should ensure that the quality is always actually complied with. Because when you're producing substandard cement, you know the consequences, collapse of buildings. So, all these put together, we've really established a very good relationship with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. So on this, it comes as a shock because surprise that, hey, these people have increased their price. The first approach out, I really think the best approach that the minister should have done was to call us for a meeting.
So you're expecting a more of a forum where they'll privately engage you, the manufacturers, than a fiat being issued?
Exactly, because the point is that we are talking about production here. We are talking about, manufacturing here. So it means the outcome, and we are talking about production cost. That leads to prices. And these manufacturers who are into that business, that professional business, considering all factors have come with a price, definitely they have a basis. They have a justification. Then you see somewhere, just issue a directive that, hey, just like reverse it. On what basis?
Are you going to comply with that directive of reversing the prices?
It can't work. Because the point is that with the directive doesn't come with any basis. Because the point is that the price increases came with basis. Steady depreciation. Cement production is hinged on importation, clinker, and other allied, equipment, spare parts, whatever. And the ministry knows it. About 75%, 80% of the raw materials, they are imported, dollar-based. And my brother, for 3 months, you're talking about, a CD to dollar, 11 to 15. And you have an industry whereby it's solely, heavily dependent on importation.
Well, the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, charged the ministry to dialogue with the cement manufacturers to determine whether there is a justification for the price hike instead of issuing a blanket directive.
what will happen is that the ministry should have a discussion with the cement manufacturers. Fortunately, there's a technical committee that even looks at the cement manufacturing prices. So we can discuss this at that level and then analyze to see the increase that has come about as a result of the cedi depreciation and other factors in the market. And when that analysis is done, we will see whether there's a justification for interest or not. So I think that is what should happen, and then we'll subsequently come back to the populace and let you know whether the prices should be maintained, increase further, or come down. For us, we are neutral because we appreciate the concern when prices are going up. It affects the citizen, it affects everybody. But we are also mindful that we also have to protect the company so that they can keep their jobs for us. So let's look at it from that angle, meet the minister, and then we'll discuss the details as to the reason behind it and whether it's justified or not.
But the concern is there really a mechanism in place as we speak to regulate how these prices are set, or it just happens when you feel that the dollar has gone up or the prices are affecting the manufacturing, it just goes up?
I don't think that any manufacturer suddenly increases prices because one cost item has gone up. No manufacturer does that. Once you do so, very soon you'll be out of business because you have other competing products all the time. So either you have a direct profit or indirect profit. So normally what happens is that they look at it over a period. If the depreciation or whatever cost is consistent over a long period, and then it gets to a point where you cannot recover with your current price, then adjust overnight because there has been increase in a particular cost item. Normally it's not done.
Meanwhile, cement retailers have begun adjusting the price of cement on the market today. They spoke with Joy News' Esther Nkrumah.
The prices of cement has surged drastically, prompting the Minister for Trades and Industry to urge cement manufacturing organizations to reduce their prices. We've been to several shops here in Accra to interact with traders as to why the price of the cement keeps increasing. I spoke to a particular trader who said that he had to increase his price by 10 cedis just this morning. So the cement he used to sell for 82 cedis is now selling for 92 cedis. I spoke to another trader who says that she's been forced to increase the price to 105 cedis. They complain that customers do not come to buy their product like they used to. And some of them have attributed the increase in the price of cement to the decline in the value of the cedi. From Accra, Esther A.C. Nkrumah.
Now joining us for a conversation on this is Executive Secretary of GREDA, Sami Amagayebo. Sami, I'm grateful to you for joining us. Now we understand the increment in cement prices is already having a toll on the industry. Help us understand the impact.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity. You know, our industry depends heavily on cement as one of the primary materials that we use for our production. And we are also in the business of manufacturing, and we manufacture houses. And so anything that happens to us in that segment of our production goes a long way to affect whatever we do. And so to be hearing of such astronomical increments, I mean, the figures I was hearing on Joy FM this evening was very disturbing. That's increases over 10 Ghana cedis to 15, or in some cases more. I think it's a bit worrying for us, and it will go a long way to affect us. Our kind of business, obviously, is something that is a long time to have your product delivered. And so when you are faced with challenges where you start your foundation of the building, or what we call substructure, at a price of, say, 60 cedis, by the time you are doing your superstructure, which is the block work above the ground level, and then you are paying 70. When you are doing your gable towards the roof, it is 80. And now you are doing plastering at 100 cedis. I think it gives you a difficulty to even how to price this product.
Okay.
And so increment in the cost of cement is really, really of a big difficulty for us.
All right. Grateful to you, Sami Amagayebo, for joining us. Now we can talk to Deputy Ranking Member on the Works and Housing Committee, Andrew Dari Chiwete. Andrew, I'm grateful to you, Honourable, for joining. Apart from this directive from the Minister, as a committee, what real measures do you expect the Minister to take to address the challenge?
Let me say a very good evening to your charity viewers and to thank you for having me. I am very happy the Minister admits or agrees to the fact that times are hard, and for that matter, increasing the cost of cement which is already very high, of course, on the market, against the expectation of Ghanaians. You see, we have a housing deficit close to 2 million, and it tells you that it is important we regulate the cost of cement. But how do we regulate the cost of cement when there are other factors that are compelling producers to increase the price of the cement on the market? You know what? I had the opportunity to listen to the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers in this country. In fact, they enumerated lots of challenges as far as the industry is concerned. If you listen to them, you can only agree with them that they have to increase the cost because they have to.
So what do you expect the minister to do to address this challenge, really?
You see, if you get to the port, import duties are very high. What is government doing about that? Taxes that cement producers, when they import clinker into the country, that they pay, it's unimaginable. Can you imagine that we still pay for COVID-19 at the port? Fumigation taxes. These taxes are not necessary, but these are taxes that importers pay at the port. What is government doing about that? Okay. High cost of electricity bill, high cost of water bill, and of course, the gargantuan depreciation of the Ghana cedi against the dollar. What is government doing about arresting the dollar? What the minister can do now is probably to inform the vice president to come back home, for them as the government or as a government to sit down and think through to see how they can work on the galloping city.
Okay.
If we are able to arrest the city, we are able to control the taxes at the port, and we are able to put measures in place to regulate the sale of cement on the market, then that's when we will have that audacity to tell producers of cement not to increase the prices.
Okay.
No one goes into business to lose. They would have to sustain their businesses.
All right, I'm grateful
and
to you.
They cannot be losing their capital.
And
so the minister can only do, or the minister's statement can only hold if they are able to regulate the issues I raised.
Mr. Zewete, I'm grateful to you for sharing your thoughts with us tonight here on the Joy News Prime. Now, environmental civil society organizations are suing government for allowing mining, both legal and illegal, and logging in several protected forests across the country. Illegal mining is currently devastating Ghana's forests, with the government struggling to contain the menace. The Csos, including Arocha, Eco Care, as well as the Nature and Development Foundation, have already complied with provisions of the State Proceedings Act and served a notice on the Attorney General. Listen to Deputy National Director of Arocha speaking at the news conference earlier today.
Serve notice on government to sue. We serve notice on government to sue somewhere 19th of April. And as is required by law, if you want to take the government on a legal action, you need to give them 30-day notice. So we actually, I would say, a week away from the expiration of that 30-day notice. And if the government doesn't take steps to engage and also annul the contracts that they have so far indicated, we will then pursue a full action. And that is where we are going to file our full statements in court for the legal action to commence. At the moment, what we are doing in terms of serving notice is equally an important part of the process. So we've been expecting that the government will engage, but since we serve notice, there has not been any engagement. And so from next week, we know that we are eventually going to file our rate of summons for the legal action to officially commence.
These CSOs accuse government of illegally converting protected forests into logging areas and granting permits for same.
So I think we all know that for some time now, Ghana is going through a phase where we've seen the government of Ghana taking active steps to convert our forest reserves either as mining concessions or as logging concessions. And this particular action by government is also affecting critical protected forest reserves in this country. And some of them are actually considered globally significant biodiversity areas, not only for biodiversity, but also for ecosystem services. Now, we've seen that the government or the Ministry of Lands has issued some administrative instructions to the Forestry Commission to convert some of these protected forest reserves into logging areas under some timber utilization contract, which we think is very illegal. And as a result, we wrote to the Ministry of Lands asking them to forfeit this action and take steps to rather restore and rehabilitate some of these forest reserves. But we are not seeing that happen. Our notice to pursue a legal action was served on the Attorney General. Because the Ministry of Land is a direct agency of the state, we served notice to the Attorney General, and we believe that by now the Ministry of Land has heard about it. I mean, in our notice to them, we actually requested for an opportunity to discuss the issues and even find a way to settle the issue without going to court. But we realized that there has not been any interest to engage on the process, so we believe that it is time that we push the issue further.
Well, Prempeh College, representing Ghana, proudly secured a remarkable victory on the international stage after their robotics team clinched the second place overall position at the prestigious World Robotics Competition held in the United States. Amidst fierce competition from around the globe, Prempeh College emerged first in the unknown missions games and second in the senior game challenge. Rejoice Semefakbesu has more.
The crowning achievement came as the Prempeh College robotics team clinched first place in the Unknown Mission Challenge, making it the fourth time they have won that category. The team's remarkable journey to success began long before they set foot on the global stage. Months of rigorous training, dedication, and innovation resulted in the outstanding performance, earning accolades not only for themselves but also for the country. The headmaster of the school, Very Reverend Lewis Asari, recounted that it took lots of efforts to prepare the students for the global stage competition.
We are giving holistic education, and we wouldn't want our students to be brainy and yet being limited in hands-on activities. So without even embarking on the STEM education, we had a robotic club, and that club has always been winning the World Championship. Last year we won, and this year too we have. And so I am very happy, and I'm also confident that we are not ending it here. It is very expensive embarking on such robotic activities. The equipment, everything are very expensive, and so we will wish that people will come in. Corporate entities, the government. In fact, the government is doing his part. I understand there is STEM innovation, yes, going on, and it is very good. Most schools are into STEM innovation, and we hope that we have already started, so we extend it to Prempeh College too.
The robotics team told the media that the win was not without challenges, but they were poised for the golden medal. Emmanuel Kwadwo Owusu is the team lead.
For Prempeh College, we went with two teams. Each team competed in two different categories. The first category was the UMC, which stands for the Unknown Mission Challenge. In that challenge, we are given 2 hours to perform a task, but before we get to the competition grounds, the task is completely unknown. So prior to the 2 hours, we are given the challenge to solve. Then the time starts, then we are supposed to build the robot and also program it under the 2 hours to solve the task. The next category is known as the game category. But for that category, we're given the task months earlier, where it's called the Autonomous Taxi Challenge, where the robot is supposed to identify pedestrians which are represented by golf balls, and then send them to their various locations. Some of the pedestrians, their locations are unknown, so the robot will actually have to sense some barcodes so that it will know where to send each pedestrian. We came first in the Unknown Mission Challenge and second place in the game. We are actually very excited, but by God's grace, we were able to compete with some of the brilliant minds and still come in first and second. There were some challenges along the way. Some of the major challenges are with some of our sensors. Sometimes they trip up a bit, so you have to actually make sure you calibrate them well. so that they don't end up spoiling the run. From here, we hope to do even greater things for our country and for the world at large.
As the Prempeh College robotics team returns home, they carry with them not only trophies, but also the pride and admiration of an entire nation.
Arise and shine, students of Prempeh College.
Well, such a great news, a news worthy of celebration. So on behalf of everybody, we say congrats to the team. This is still the Joy News Prime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. Welcome back from the break now. Information Minister Designate Fatima Abubakar says government has advocated for stiffer punishment against persons who attack journalists in their line of duty. Speaking at the 3rd African Media Convention in Accra, Fatima Abubakar added her ministry is in talks with the judiciary to ensure such punishments deter people from attacking journalists. The minister designate also added that government's introduction of the Ghana today.gov.gh as a way of fighting misinformation has been yielding results. Kenneth Jesse has more in the following report.
With Ghana moving 12 places up the World Press Freedom Index to 50th position, President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfor, who is the co-chair of the local organizing committee of the 3rd African Convention, said the country's improved performance on the Press Freedom Index is as a result of the collaborative efforts between media practitioners and government to address the press freedom concerns in the country.
I am happy to inform this gathering that Ghana's World Press Freedom Index improved from the 62nd position last year to 50th this year. This achievement is due to a number of factors, including strong collaboration among media partners and the government to address press freedom concerns.
Information Minister Designate Fatima Abubakar highlighted efforts being undertaken by government, some of which include a media capacity enhancement program, which involved 140 journalists with plans to extend it across the country, and the establishment of the Ghana today.gov.gh website, where all government information are posted in an attempt to curb misinformation about government and other state agencies.
The Ministry of Information has been actively engaging with the Judicial Service. We have advocated for severe punishments by the judiciary for those who attack journalists and media houses. We must hold those who attempt to silence the press accountable for their actions. The government of Ghana also launched the Ghana today.gov.gh website, a pioneering initiative in our ongoing battle for truth and clarity. A dedicated team at the Information Services Department, ISD, manages this website, which serves as a fortress against misinformation and a repository of accurate information directed from the ministry's departments and agencies.
Chief of Staff Fremo Sayopare, who represents the President, charged journalists to intensify their reports on climate change due to the catastrophic dangers it poses to the world, with Africans being the biggest victims.
Research has estimated that the impact of climate change on the African continent would be worse than slavery and colonialism, and thus behoves on the African media to accept its role in combating climate change and its attendant environmental crisis. Everyone deserves to live in a healthy environment. Therefore, environmental awareness is key to ensuring that people understand how their actions affect the environment. The media has a responsibility to keep everyone informed about the adverse effects of human activities and ultimately the protection of our environment.
The Third African Media Convention is under the theme Enhancing Freedom, Innovation and Environmental Sustainability in the Dynamic Media Space. In a dynamic media space.
Now, election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, the AICPA and CIMA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, and Chop Box Technologies, a convenient service. Election headquarters is for an informed electorate. Now, the NDC is escalating their demands for a probe into the missing voter registration kits. Tonight, they are also calling for a probe into the conduct of the Electoral Commission in the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. They want a bipartisan parliamentary inquiry. The EC, in an earlier news conference, revealed that 7 of their BVR kits had gone missing. The NDC says that situation, together with the EC's refusal to share the serial numbers of the kits being used in the ongoing registration, is grave concern. General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiavi Kwete, at a news conference earlier, raised some issues concerning the operations of the EC, specifically the use of faulty machines, inaccurate registration figures, and the abuse of the voter registration process. My colleague Michael Ashale has the rest of the story.
One major concern raised by the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Bande,
across 5 major issues which cut across the general operations of the Electoral Commission and the ongoing voter registration exercise. They started with the issue of the faulty registration kits and the internet connectivity, which forced the EC to instruct their agents to go offline. The NDC says that decision opens up the process to manipulations. General Secretary of the party, Fifi Fiavi Kwete, addressed the news conference.
The NDC unequivocally rejects the Electoral Commission's use of offline registrations, which could potentially cloak their inefficiencies under the guise of technical challenges. Such practices not only undermine the integrity of the electoral process, but are also ripe for exploitation, including data manipulation and the introduction of errors that could skew the process outcome.
Although the EC says it has taken note of errors in its registration computations and rectified them, the NDC says they have uncovered more errors.
This situation exemplifies what we term transpositional rigging of elections, where figures are shuffled between categories without affecting the overall total. In the OT region, the Day 2 figure of 578 was erroneously swapped with the 3's figure of 1,515. Bono East recorded 2,252 per hour data. This figure will affect the total registered voters of 5,118 for Bono East for the 4 days as stated by the EC.
The NDC also raised issues with the continued busing of minors and their enrollment onto the electoral roll. They alleged that some EC officials and security personnel were facilitating the illegality.
It has come to our attention that EC registration officials, in collusion with elements of the NPP, are misusing the Ghana card extensively. A particularly alarming instance was uncovered at the Pusiga Registration Center, where EC registration officer Muhazu Al-Hassan used a single Ghana card to register 20 different applicants.
Fifi Kwete says they will not back down on their demand for the serial numbers of all devices being used in the limited voter registration exercise.
We'll take a break here. We'll bring you showbiz. Please stay. All right, welcome back. Let's do showbiz now. And you know what? Becky Bex in all her glory is here. Hi, Becky. How you doing?
I'm okay.
No, give us more. Give us more. Don't ever stop. You look glamorously beautiful.
Grace.
I mean, look,
do you want the story or not?
I want the story, but I want to praise God for doing such a magnificent work.
Thank you, Jesus. Praise the Lord. We're grateful for our lives.
Amen, yeah.
And we're particularly grateful to God for the life of Wendy Shay. She's been trending. She's been giving us, signs. We cannot confirm if it's true that she's left RTown Records, but she's been tweeting a lot. The first tweet came in. She says that her new video, she said that it's been 6 years, she's leaving or something like that. Then she came to say that
6 years already?
a new video will not be on RTown Records channel, so they should follow her as she embarks on a new journey and subscribe to her new YouTube account. So people were speculating with that one. This evening, so first of all, when you go onto her Twitter, I think a few hours ago, when you go onto Twitter, you will see that she's actually changed the booking details.
Okay.
The first one was RTown Records, so you can reach out to her on RTown Records. But now it has been changed to Wendy Shay Booking.
So Enigma EP is her?
That's her EP. That's her. That's an EP and that's Wendy Shay GH there. So in as much as that we cannot confirm that she's left, the signs are already there. I don't have to confirm and say that, she's left. Well, she says that we should direct the bookings to Wendy Shay Bookings. And Bullet hasn't said anything about this development. Wendy hasn't said anything yet. Yeah. These are the signs, and we're hoping that this plays out well. This won't be the first time somebody's leaving a record label. Bullet has had some, people on the label. Ebony was part of the label. She passed on.
So
there was Kwadwo as well. Fantana was also part of that RTown record label. And we have Kiki Mali as well. So she was also part of that record label. So this won't be the first time somebody's leaving a record label. We have people left record label. But we want to understand exactly what happened. If Wendy will be so kind to share, if Bullets will be so kind to share, we will be grateful and the fans will be grateful. But that's it about Wendy Shay. Let's talk about Sarkodie, because Sarkodie says that he will be given the opportunity to fund Sack Nation. I don't know why he says Sack Nation. I mean, what if I'm not Sack Nation and I'm listening to the song? He's giving them the opportunity to share in with his music and make money.
That's why he's talking about Sack Nation. People who sure.
It's hard. Can you imagine getting royalties for somebody else's music?
Oh, yes.
That's what he's trying to do. Yeah. And so I will take part to just let us know how to get the money. We'll get the money. But when was the last time you heard from Berima Sydney?
Been ages.
Yeah, so he's been telling us why he's been off the scene for like a very long time.
I do my own business, yeah?
Really?
I love being home. I'll be the homeboy. Yes.
And you were not releasing songs?
Yes.
Why?
I wasn't releasing songs because I wasn't ready to promote them. I wasn't ready to come for an interview like this, go to radio.
Why? What made you decide just to be, in your shell and not come out?
You see, at a point in time, I was heartbroken when the Papano thing came out. The lashing was too much. It was too much.
Berima Sydney right there. So he sang a song, Papano, and he got quote-unquote bullied for it. So he got heartbroken and he decided to stay, indoors. And now he's back.
Okay.
I'm not confused.
Well, you should be strong enough to stand that, it happens. Yeah. But anyway, we wish him the best as he's back now.
You look nice. I'm now looking at that.
You know, the hunter man is here looking all that's like hunter-ish stuff, you know. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for being a part of it. Thanks for spending your time with us. There's more on myjoyonline.com.
Every time.